What's up, guys? Coach Jason here with Mach 1 Barbell. Let's go around the table, make sure you know who everybody else is.
Coach Ron.
Coach RJ.
Coach Bob.
Big Bob.
Big Dad Bob.
Today, we want to talk about why people fail in the gym, what's causing inconsistency, and how we could navigate these obstacles. All of us have been in this industry for a number of years and have seen every excuse and reason under the book, some good, some bad. But at the end of the day, all of us have had fitness as a part of our lives for, a decade or longer, and what's helped us stay consistent and achieve success. You want to start us off, Coach Sharon?
Sure. So probably the biggest reason I've seen people fail with fitness is because of unrealistic goal setting. That's probably the big one. I know the typical New Year's resolutioners come to mind, or they come into the gym for the first time and they're like, I want to lose 50 pounds. And while that's not a bad goal to have for some people, it's not always the most manageable. Like, I'm sure we all heard about SMART goals before and all that stuff. And it's so true with, new clients, especially those who are new to fitness. I usually encourage people when they come in, make a short-term goal. What can you commit to realistically in 1 month? That's going to make you happy. And then we write down our long-term goal for like 6 months to a year out. Because I think it's important to give clients realistic expectations. Because guess what? If you're not meeting your goals, you're not happy, you're not motivated, you're not going to come back. It's very simple. So I'd probably say not being realistic with clients about their goals, or explaining or not explaining the process thoroughly about how to get to those goals.
For you, what would be maybe one or two key tips that you would give to anyone that's looking to create a more realistic, set of structure that they can follow and adhere to in short periods of time?
Sure. I do actually use the acronym, like the SMART goal acronym, with clients a lot because it does break it down quite nicely. But before we even get to that, I sit down with people and I'm like, all right, be honest. What is the max, or not even max, the most realistic amount of days for you that you can commit to coming into the gym? How long do these workouts look like? Diet wise, once we talk about diet, all right, what's one thing we can change? I start off very, very small and incremental, and we just focus on what we can do right away. And then we start to tweak one or two things at a time. So it might be more than one or two things, but I think just keeping it small and incremental is what sets people up for success, because change is way more manageable when you focus on what they can do and then change one thing at a time.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of that, like people come in with these big aspirations, lose 50 pounds, and we're like, yeah, that's a great goal. That could do, X, Y, and Z for you. But we also can't lose 50 if we don't lose 10.
Yes.
Right? So starting with the building blocks and breaking it down. And I think the two of the SMART is like realistic and timely. Those are like the two big ones that stand out to me. And the client will be like, oh, well, like 10 sounds great, but I want to lose 50. Like, why can't we just focus on the 50? And breaking it up like that in small chunks, whether this is weight loss, whether this is like, I want to squat more or bench press more, starting with the small things, stacking days, it adds up.
Kind of adding on what Coach RJ said, I feel like sometimes from what I've seen and like things we talked about with our athletes is rewiring themselves to decipher what's a goal and what's a destination. And I think with like destinations, bars, write that down. For me, even for me, I feel like when you have these goals and you kind of mistaken a goal from a destination, like, oh, I want to deadlift 800 pounds, like that's not necessarily a goal you can start with. That's more of a destination of the accumulation of goals that you've been setting. Like, I think a first starting goal to get to 800-pound deadlift, start deadlifting. Start day one. Just start doing it, and then just start adding weight. Following your coach's program, and then timeline, if everything goes well, then you'll get there. But I think like some people kind of stop themselves from even letting them get started because they view it as a goal, they view it as a goal, not a destination. Like when I first started powerlifting, I never thought I would, my goal wasn't just to deadlift, 800 pounds, 700 pounds, right? It was just to powerlift. Like my goal was just to get started, to feel strong, to just get to the gym and follow a program. It was like very like minimal things. And now over time, the progress has showed itself. But I think it's always good to like decipher what's a destination, right? Like Coach Aaron was saying, like I want to I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to like lose X amount of weight. You have to start small, like Coach RJ said, 10 pounds. Like it always starts out from like a mini goal, and those kind of compound over time, kind of like investing. Kind of like the Roth, right? Shout out Charles Schwab. So good friend of mine, good friend, doing great, doing great. Up $1.
Good job, Bobby.
But yeah, so I think it's just deciphering what's a destination versus a goal. Like I think,
I've never heard of that.
yeah.
That kind of reminds me of a little story I could share about like my own journey in terms of like destinations and goals. When I first started Olympic lifting, I had in my mind that I wanted to eventually snatch 125 kilos, 275 pounds. The reason why I picked that number is because it was in pounds, it's 2.25, 245s and a 25. So I'm like, that's an awesome place to be. And when I started, I was nowhere near that spot. So I knew it inherently, maybe I didn't think of it in that frame, but I knew it was a destination that I was going to be. Recently, within the last 6 months, I hit that goal. And yeah, but like it came and it made me think about when I finally hit that goal, that wasn't even necessarily like a long-term goal anymore because as I was getting stronger and as I was a part of this process and a part of this journey and sticking to it, I had other goals. I was like, I could see what else was possible. I didn't think when I first started that was even doing more than that would be possible. Now, like who I am now, like I'm like more is possible. So when I finally reached that destination, now it was not like the final destination, it was more of a milestone. And I was like, okay, now I've cleared it. I still felt really good and accomplished about it, but now there's even more to look forward to.
Yeah.
And to kind of circle back into like really what we're talking about and like, where people fail, I think it's the lack of consistency. That didn't happen overnight, right? I started Olympic lifting in 2019, and that doesn't even factor in my previous history of strength training. So I've been lifting in the gym for well over 10 years. So this was not something that happened in a month or two. This happened because of, in Charles Schwab terms, compounding interest.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we said so far, it's kind of been like the person driven, flipping the switch a little bit. I think getting a good system in place is also important. And it's tough on the consumer end because they don't really know. They're just like, I'm going to go into this place. I want to get this result. You guys are going to tell me what to do. And like we can tell our people everything to do, but is the system set up for success? Are we holding them accountable for their actions? Are you guys doing the right things? Is it being measured? Is it being tracked? And I think that's a big part of it as well, because we could write the perfect plan on paper and have the perfect program in place, and if the system doesn't set the client up for success, then that plan is actually not perfect.
I just want to add one quick thing on having a system is being a part of, not to toot our own horn, but we have a really awesome community, a really awesome support system here. And wherever that might be for you, at least we know, at least we know here that having that support and that structure here helps with everything you just said.
Yeah.
I think that's a really powerful thing, is to be able to have a support system that's not only going to guide you in the right direction and have your best interest, but be there for you, your highest highs and your lowest lows.
And I think, oh, do you want to go?
No, you go.
Oh, you go? Okay.
No, you go.
Okay, ready. And that conversation reminded me of like the scene in Kung Fu Panda when like Tai Lung like beat Poe's ass to get to the Dragon Warrior scroll because he wanted to be the Dragon Warrior, and then he opened it up and realized there was nothing there. And I think like I remember I had a conversation with you guys like literally like was like I was always like trying to find like I was researching, studying, reading all these books about like what is the perfect program, what is the perfect system, and I realized like there is no perfect system. It's just being accountable for the athletes, writing what's good for them, and kind of pivoting when we need to. And I think it's just like I think like I said, like we were talking about like the destination and the goals. It's like Tom Brady, right? GOAT, bro. I'm sure he had like the best plays in the NFL history playbook, but when he got to the line of scrimmage, he had to call audibles in order to maneuver the defense.
Or you deflate the ball.
Allegedly not proven. No, not proven. The GOAT at deflating. But I think it comes down deflate GOAT. My GOAT can do whatever he wants. But like everyone was saying, it comes from like the community and the system and being able to like even when the moment doesn't look great, can you still show up with your community and trust in them? Can they trust that you'll get it done as well? And I think it comes down to like everyone can have the most perfect program, but not everyone can follow the most perfect program. And it comes down to the community keeping you accountable, your coach keeping you accountable, but also keeping yourself accountable. So I think it's just a mixture of all those things. And I think people are more limitless than they think they are. I think some people kind of I'm sure you guys heard it where it's like, oh, I could never do that. I could never lift 200 pounds. I can never lift 300. Who said so? You know what I mean? Is that you saying that or is that other people saying that?
Just like, are you just saying if you're like, are you piecing it up in a realistic way? Right? Like if you're saying, oh, I can never do that. Okay. Well, if you haven't been lifting, you probably can't tomorrow, but 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, if you set it in realistic standards, you could achieve a lot.
Just to kind of go off of that real quick, because my first personal training experience, it was a gym for a lot of Gen Pop clients, and that was the large basis of my clients, still is. But the one thing I've realized too that makes people quit fitness right away is they don't utilize a coach properly, and they wind up getting hurt, they wind up getting injured, and it kind of prevents them from coming back. So just taking the time to work with a coach in whatever capacity you're able to, because I know it's not always financially, in the cards for everyone to do so. But if you're new to fitness, there is so much value in getting started with working with a coach. Because sometimes it's easy to buy this ebook online and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. And that's great that you're taking it on yourself to do it. But there's definitely value in learning proper form, proper mechanics to get started. And then you could be off to the races. That's one of the things I like that we're kind of doing with our on-ramp system right now, like giving people the foundational tools, and that really sets them up for continued success in the gym. So
yeah, I think one thing that you said about getting a coach and maybe why some people fail at first is like kind of spinning the wheels, is going back to the unrealistic expectation. We'll talk about it, TikTok, Instagram. We see it everywhere on social media. Do my workout, it's going to cure your back pain, or do my system in 30 days and you're going to shred fat. And some of those stuff you see might not actually be what's happening behind the scenes. It's just good marketing team, good video you're watching, it gets you sucked in. And a really hard sell with the strength training is time. It takes time. It takes discipline. You got to show up and do the work, and having a system in place, like Mach 1, will put you in a position to succeed, from day one. Someone walks through our doors, we sit down with them, we talk with them, we call that, our no sweat intro. We learn a little bit more about this person in front of us. All right, my goal is X. Here is how we get you to X, and if you don't have a system in place and you're not putting in the work, we're not going to see the results. And having a coach is super important part of that process.
I think where the coach ties into this and where structure ties in also is, I think I see just as many people fail because they don't start as I do people fail who reach their goals and then stop.
Yes.
And not having like a way forward or a continuation pathway is another reason why people wind up at square one again and yo-yo back and forth between their results. And that's the power of having a great coach or great coaches and having a great community and being a part of this for the long run. Is it's great to have goals and to piece them up into short term, medium term, long term, but those goals need to evolve. Otherwise, when you hit them and you stop, you're just going to basically let all of the hard work you put in just melt away.
Yeah.
So continuing after you achieve your goals is another reason where people fail. And, that can easily be prevented by just staying on the horse.
Yeah, like I agree too. Like I've seen like a lot of like phenomenal lifters, power lifters, like coming out the gate lifting heavy and they just almost seemed unstoppable, and then like they win maybe like a meet or they don't do well at a meet or something happens and then just stop, and then it's like you never hear from them again, and it's like crazy because I feel like it's like some people want to train for the moment, not the momentum, and they don't want to just keep getting strong because they like it. They want to train for a specific time, a specific place, and then basically drop it once they've reached that or don't reach it. And I think you've probably heard quotes being like the journey is the part you remember anyways. So it's like I think like you're having fun with your program and you're talking to your coaches and you're not having a grueling program or a grueling session every day that you hate. Like you're actually enjoying it and having fun, seeing some gains, seeing your friends in the community. Like you come to the gym, see some of your lifting friends. I feel like that's all that matters. That keeps you kind of going, keeps you like going longevity wise. And I've definitely had moments where like I'll be lifting alone. I'm like, dang, I really wish the boys were here. Yeah, and Sharon, the boys, and Sharon. But I think that's for like and Pebbles. So it's like like what like coaches are saying. Like I think it's having a great community, great coach, like someone you can always just bounce back feedback of, with, and be like, hey, come to the gym. Like we're all getting a lift in together. Like makes like those memories worth everything.
Yeah. So I think you guys have some good ideas of how to stay on track, how not to fail like the rest of us or the rest of other people. All right, not the rest of us.
We're all failures. We all suck.
Sorry. Oh no. Oh God.
He's actually scared.
Mach 1 on 3, right?
Just like close this out.
Yeah, let's go shot. 1, 2, 3. Mach 1.